Hey guys, Nary here from Drakewing Games, somebody on Twitter, the Gaming Dragon, and as you can see, today I am coming at you with a new Let's Play series. We are looking at Lyre. Lyre. I don't, probably Lyre. But anyway, man, this frickin' intro screen is just a step above. I've never seen this on a VN before. This is really, really cool. Presentation is very important in these, and this frickin' nails it right out the door. It's wowing me. So guys, let's even has a music room. Yeah, this game has good music just from listening to the menu music. I don't know, I'm on a binge with fantasy VNs lately. I can't help myself. But anyway, guys, let's jump right into it and see where this strange, weird journey takes us. What is your name? Oh god, I hate this. Am I playing as a male or female? That's my question. Fantasy theme name. Leuven. Chapter 1, Day 1. Alright, Alarm Chan, you are up. I'm falling, but I don't fear hitting the ground. Ooh. Grimrock! The Legend of Grimrock. Good game. All around me I see the vast landscape of our continent, Tigran. It is all laid out like a map, slightly curved and difficult to see through the misty clouds. My hands are sprawled out to my side as if I were a bird gliding through the dense air. This slows the process of my descent, allowing me to truly take in the landscape. Ooh. The Baron, Sun's Peak, Asta thou praising the sun. Luna's Fjord, Golden Timber, Diamond Pond. Oh, this is cool! Alright. I guide my body to look behind me to the northeast, and see the kingdom of Lyre, a beautiful city with a massive castle surrounded by walls settled on lands of the fjord, its snow-capped mountains shining pink with sunlight. The grassy hills rolling down to the waters like a thick blanket. I can see the cliffs of the fjord and how they dip into the river below. The path leading up north through the mountains is treacherous yet serene. Then stretching across to the west of Tigran, I can see the kingdom of Erin, my home. The waters of the locks are glistening with sunlight, and the white sand of the coast is unnaturally bright. I see ships going in and out of the bay, their sails filled with the deep fall wind. The shadow gulch is as ominous as ever, with its cypress trees twisting up from the bottom of the rivers into the sky, shrouding the ground in the deep shadow. My gaze turns to the southern desert, its large plateaus reaching high and forming the canyon pass. This leads down through the Badlands to the kingdoms of Driss and its bustling markets, the walls curving with the shape of the dunes, connecting with the citadel, a great impenetrable structure. My eyes then wander around, looking over every detail of the land, forgetting that I'm falling and instead feeling like I'm flying towards wherever my eyes take me. Just as I feel a presence next to me, I see the clouds pulled from my vision as my body is sent higher and higher at a high speed. I feel fear as everything starts to fade from view. Oh, pretty room. I roll over onto the cool bed sheets, feeling the air around me compress. My eyes open to a thick light pouring down above me, hitting the foot of the bed I'm laying in. I hear the distant clatter of metal along with voices. It feels like a cold fall afternoon, and there is a stuffy smell that lingers around me as I see dust particles dancing in the light. My mouth tastes dry. My heart starts to rhythmically beat in my chest, picking up pace with every second. I look down at my body and notice that I have thick bandages wrapped around my torso. I reach out with my hand just around my stomach and feel a twinge of pain near the lower right side of my gut. My mind is racing with questions. I sit up and the feeling of all the blood rushing to my head makes everything go dark. I shift from the bed and slowly wriggle myself out from underneath the covers. I go to lift myself from the bed and stumble a bit as I steady myself on the cold floor. I look around the decorated room I'm in. It is elegant, with a nicely sized bed, a desk, and a slightly open glass door that leads out onto a balcony, where I can see the afternoon light shining down onto the floor. A few bottles and bowls of medicine are strewn about, laying on the cabinet in front of me. I slowly start to walk to the door, when suddenly I begin to feel horrible. Everything seems to kick in at once as I'm slowly crouching to the ground. I crawl to the floor and lay there for a second, waiting for it to pass. Ooh. Hello there. As I lay there, feeling my insides twist around and dance in my body, the door opens, and I met with a creepy figure in a dark green robe, wearing a pointed mask and a hat. They look as if they were about to do something, but stop in the doorway. I feel their gaze follow me from behind the dark goggles. "Ah, you're awake. Good. Yes." He stutters this out with much effort in an odd voice. "Oh, dear. Wait here for a moment, please. I'll be right back with help." He prances and stumbles back through the doorway, leaving it slightly open, his feathery tail floating behind him. That is fucking cool! Oh my god! That's so cool. He prances and... Okay. All I can do is lay there as I hear him scuttle off calling someone's name. I start to feel a bit better and the squeamish feeling subsides slowly. Just as the cold floor starts to feel nice, I hear muffled voices from outside the door. One of them I recognize as the bird, and another seems rather gruff and annoyed. Of course, the minute I leave for a drink, something happens! How long has he been awake? I don't know. He was just lying there on the floor. Is he okay? Well, not really. He seemed to be in some pain, but that's expected. Or maybe he was just scared of you. What are you getting at? That mask makes you look ridiculous. It's a safety precaution. I hear the footsteps and the voices get closer until they're right outside the door. Oh, hello there. You'd never catch me wearing one of those. A short cloaked bird shuffles into the room carrying a bag. Walking behind him is a wolf man of sorts. He is very tall and muscular, almost having to bend over to walk through the doorway. He closes the door behind him. His right eye is scarred, and he has a semi-annoyed expression on his face, contrary to his tail slightly swishing left and right. His clothing is simple yet elegant. Large, white, and bulky, with fur trimmings and metal plate armor. A large white cape drapes behind him with a blue interior. I see a symbol on the breastplate, which I can somewhat recognize as the king's family sigil, a pair of antlers stretching high. He is coated with dark brown fur, which is very fluffy around the neck. His eyes trail around the room, landing on me. He then walks forward and begins to speak. Do you need any help? I nod my head. He stands awkwardly for a moment before walking forward, his padded feet thumping against the smooth floor. The wolf then proceeds to kneel down and gently reaches out to pick me up. God, this music is good. Oh! He pauses before hesitantly touching me, reaching under my legs with his paw and then reaches with his other arm around my back and grips my shoulder. The wolf lifts me up and adjusts me in his grip so I don't fall. His neck fur grazes against my face as he carries me over to the bed and lays me down in it, gently reclining me back against one of the large pillows. I mumble out some appreciation. Thank you, he grunts in response. God, Leaf, it's fucking cold in here. At least make him decent and give him a shirt to wear. Clothing would mess up with the bandages and the fresh air. Would do him some good. Besides, how are you cold? I'm not, but the floor feels like ice. I'm sure that he's fine. I sit up in bed with some hesitation and open my mouth to speak. Who are you? The two turn and look at me as Leaf makes a motion to speak. The wolf places a paw on his shoulder. My name is Leo Reed. I'm the commander of the Royal Guard, and this is the royal family's physician, Leif. He says this with a certain twinge of proudness, his tail swishing slightly. Yes, I'm sure we can dispense the formalities now. Do you remember anything before the crash? I look down at my torso and the two connect. So that's what happened. You can't remember? Zoop! He has a curious look on his face as his eyes stare into mine with extreme intensity. Leaf scuttles over to the bedside table. It's all a bit vague. Here, have some water. If anyone who makes this game is watching, if any of the devs are watching, you said that Leif stutters. Maybe I'm overdoing it. Just let me know. Leif walks over to me carrying a small goblet of water. I accept it cautiously, bringing it to my lips, taking a short drink. Slowly, it all starts to come back to me as if I had just woken up after a horrible dream. I was on my way north to the Kingdom of Lyre as an ambassador of the Kingdom of Erin. During a cold and rainy night on the 11th day of travel, as we were nearing the outskirts of the kingdom, I remember minding my own business in a small closed-off cart. Suddenly there was a loud rumbling noise and shouting. That's all I can remember. I can't remember much of what happened, just everything before blacking out. On the mountain pass just outside the outer city, there was a rock slide. It wiped through most of your small entourage and killed some men. When our rangers came upon it where it happened, your carts and wagons were almost decimated. You had a piece of splintered wood lodged in your side. Thankfully, it didn't hit anything vital. You seem to have recovered well over the past 4 days. While Lyre rants about how much the mountain pass is too dangerous to take anymore, I look down at my side and feel the bandages. It's painful, but not enough to bring a wince through my body. I was out for 4 days? Aside from the occasional stirring in your sleep. I quickly try to shake off the thought of someone watching me sleep. That would have been pretty scary, waking up in the middle of the night to a 6.5-foot tall wolf in the corner of an unfamiliar room. Well, I hope this hasn't cut into anything important. Don't worry, things have been quite slow lately. There hasn't been much being discussed, and we're still waiting for the ambassador from Driss. He falls silent at first, staring out the window behind me before his eyes fall back down. His tail swishes slightly, and after an awkward pause, he speaks again. The king has assigned me to your personal guard. The statement surprises me. I was not expecting the king to assign me a guard, let alone the captain himself. For some reason, I'm on my way here. My imagination led me to think of a king who was rash and dismissive and had no time for political nonsense. I thought I would be completely on my own. That's usually how it goes. As I'm thinking this, Leif moves over to the other side of the room and fiddles with something in his little bag. I'm sure that you will do a fine job, sir. I'll make sure to give my thanks to the king. Lyre grimaces a bit and his nose gives a small twitch. You don't have to refer to me with such titles. Lyre is fine. I give him a slight nod. This certainly isn't the introduction I'd hoped for. One moment I'm sitting in my cart, heading around the mountain pass, almost to my destination, where I would be received by the castle staff and possibly even the king himself. Instead, I wake up in my new chambers, unfortunately having missed everything important from my arrival. As kind as these two are, the situation I find myself in is less than preferable. I sigh and shake my head. Well, as long as I haven't missed out on anything important. My thoughts still dwell on the crash. I haven't really had enough time to let it settle in that people just died, that I almost died. It's a shame that rockslide happened, and I'm very thankful that your rangers were able to save my life and many others. Lyre gives a slight smirk of acknowledgement. I can already tell that he's a bit modest, even if his tail is sweeping the ground. It's their job. Leif struts over to me with a small bowl of some weird mushy substance. It looks familiar, but I haven't had to take that much medicine in my life. Here's something to ease the pain. This is most likely the last time you'll have to take it, considering you've healed very fast already. I stare down at the bowl in discomfort as Leif drones on about the unique healing process innate in humans, along with some other stuff I didn't care to focus on. Oh, so I'm a human. Okay. I take the small bowl and drink down the strange mix. It has a thick consistency. The texture is like eating sandy mud. Ugh. Not that I've ever done that before. The taste, however, is not as bad as I thought it would be. It has a savory flavor that's very hard to describe. Still not pleasant enough for me to thoroughly enjoy it. If you don't mind, I'd like to take a look at your bandages and also see how your recovery is coming along. I look down at my side and lift the covers a bit. Sure, I guess. Ha! Leif walks around to the other side of the bed and begins to awkwardly unwrap the bandages with his gloved hands. When I catch Lyre watching from across the room, he quickly averts his gaze. He certainly is expressive, though he tries to hide it. Leif finishes unwrapping the bandages, and I finally get a good look at the wound. It looks a bit messy. A dark red color around the skin, and the scar left behind isn't pretty. It's coming along nicely. He's got to be kidding. He takes a damp sponge and begins to lightly dab and rub at it. I see the wound start to clean up nicely, and after a minute, Leif rubs some weird cream on it with a sponge, and he seems to be done. Layla is turned around, meekly fidgeting with something on the desk. I'm not surprised to see that you're getting better very fast. You should be able to walk now without risk of opening up the wound. Just try to take it slow. How can I take things slow when everything's happening so fast? That's good to hear, thank you. Leif seems to be happy to hear that his efforts are appreciated, as I can hear his tail lightly flipping up and down, rhythmically tapping against the ground for a second. I'm always happy to help. Let me know if you need anything else. And with that, he picks up his bag and makes his way to the door before turning to Lyle. I'll leave the rest to you. He shuffles through the doorway, and it closes behind him with a soft thud. The silence settles once Leaf leaves. Lyle is clearly uncomfortable with it, so he speaks up. Leaf usually knows what he's talking about, but are you sure you're okay? He gives me a look of concern for a moment, but then his eyes dart, first to the floor, then around the room. Aside from my body feeling sore, after being awake for a bit, I feel better. I feel good enough, I guess. He looks at me with a smile and adjusts himself. Well, if you want to get dressed, your clothes and other things were brought up. He gestures over to the corner of the room, where I can see my trunks and belongings. Even though I'm wrapped in bandages around my torso, I still feel underdressed, so I guess putting on some clothes would definitely help. I make a motion to rise, but Lyle shoots me a worried look. Maybe I can get you something to wear. No, sure, just the outfit from that trunk over there. I point to the trunk on the left, which is the outfit I was going to wear when I met the king. He makes his way over to the pile of trunks, his cape gliding across the floor behind him with each careful step. Lyle looks very out of place in this room. Everything looks so small compared to him. He bends down and unlatches the trunk. I see him pause to look at its contents, then proceed to curiously sift through it. His ears perk up really high when he finds the outfit. He clumsily stands from his kneeling position and walks over to the side of my bed, carrying the outfit. It's nothing too fancy. I may have some form of noble status, but I don't tend to overplay it. It is, however, the nicest outfit I own that fits the climate. The main parts of it are made from cotton, with bits of silk here and there. There's a basic undershirt with flowy sleeves and a slight ruffle. The trousers are layered and tight-fitting with pockets on the side. Tailcoats usually are not my favorite article of clothing to wear. Usually I lean towards the robes or jackets. There's some fur and there's a small scarf that I can wrap around my neck and tuck into the vest. Lyle places the outfit on the bed and takes a step back. Is this the one? He says this with a bit of worry, as if he made the wrong decision. Yeah, this is it. I sit up and grab onto the pair of pants. I go to change and realize what's wrong with this. Should I bathe first? Lyle looks at me with a dismissive gaze, then talks. You smell fine to me. I guess someone like him would be the best judge of that. I go to unbutton my trousers, but stop, realizing that he's watching. Do you mind looking the other way? Oh, of course. He quickly turns on his heel and stands at the other side of the room, staring out the window, the light eclipsing around his dark fur. I take off my trousers and undergarments, putting on a fresh new pair, and then fasten the new slacks. As I secure the last button, I lift my head and speak in his direction. Okay, you're good. Sorry. He turns away from the window quickly as if he was frustrated with something happening outside. I reach down for the shirt and bring it up over my head. As my arms rise above my head, I feel a sharp pain in my side and wince. Lyle clearly sees this. Maybe I should help. No, really, it's fine. I just need to... I slide my arms through the sleeves and my head pops up through the collar. Before I'm even able to finish putting the vest on, Lyle is walking around to the side of the bed carrying the tailcoat. He lifts it up, motioning for me to put it on. Huh. He's a big boy. He drapes the coat over me slowly, with the collar fitting around my neck. I carefully embrace it and start putting it on. So, you're going to be my guard? If you'll have me. He says it with a solemn look on his face. It's a little blush on your face. He's a cutie. I guess it wouldn't hurt. I really don't mind it. I don't know if I'll need the protection, but it's always nice to be prepared. It's also nice to have a guide of sorts to show me around. It definitely would help. Almost half of your men were wiped out in that disaster. The king thought that you could use some extra paws. And I can show you the castle and escort you in the town. I would like that a lot. Although I don't know if I'll have the time for it. That sounds nice. The king also thought that you might like to have someone in a high position that you can trust. He says this with a certain proudness in his voice and a slight smile. I decided to humor him. What makes you think I can trust you? What makes you think I trust you? He stops moving one of the sleeves up my arm for a moment, then starts again and his mouth twists into an embarrassed smile. Don't worry, I jest. Very funny. Yeah, grumpy wolf. He grumbles to himself as I fasten the buttons on the front. So you watched me while I slept? He's taken aback by the statement. I'm your guard. I was stationed outside of your room to keep watch. Believe me, it's not something I wanted to do. It's not like you're in any danger. Why were you up at night? Do you take both day and night shift? I don't need to sleep all that much. Plus, I feel more awake at night. Oh yeah, I've heard that some races don't need as much sleep. Maybe 3 to 4 hours with a 24-hour within a 24-hour period. I guess that's as good. I guess that's good for someone in his position. Well, it's fine. Again, I was only joking. I do enjoy watching this wolf get flustered. You're just full of jokes, aren't you? He shakes his head with a slight laugh, sighing as he looks at the floor. One of his teeth hangs out of his mouth in a goofy way. I take this moment of silence to get down to business. Does the king request my presence? I realize that it was a bit foolish of me to dress for the occasion before even considering that I might not even get to meet the king today. I'm just looking forward to meeting him and discussing certain matters that pertain to my job. I'm not even sure the king knows that you're awake at this moment, but I assume he will find out shortly. Most likely you'll be able to speak with him during supper tomorrow. That does sound interesting. I definitely wouldn't mind having a nice meal right now. Speaking of supper, I'm very hungry. Don't worry, that's already been taken care of. Leif would have sent for one of the servers to bring you some food by now. Especially since they won't have to feed you with that weird tube. Do they seriously have to do that? I feel sick of the thought. Only twice, and don't worry, it's not that bad. Our little twerp may be a bit weird at times, but he knows his way around medicine and has been able to achieve things most wouldn't even imagine to be possible. Lyle has an odd relationship with the bird. It sounds like he respects him, though. From what I've seen, he seems to know his way around his work, and I trust him. He seems pretty jumpy, though. I wouldn't imagine he's the best at surgery. Then again, I'm still here. Unless he had help. So, how did you find yourself in your position? Well, that came out of nowhere. Oh, alright! That's going to be the end of this episode, guys. I am loving this so far. This is really cool. First 20 minutes, very, very impressive. Has left a great impression on me. I can't wait to find out what more there is to this game. But anyway, guys, it's been the first episode of Lyre. Thank you all so much for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and ring the notification bell to the next video. I love you all. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye!